Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you for being here and tuning in. Today I have a very special guest who is from Massachusetts. His name is Derek. He's an amazing acrylic painter. I found him through an art featuring page on Instagram and I love his style and his work, and I was able to have him as a guest artist teacher today, showing you guys how to paint this beautiful scene. I hope you guys will learn a lot and enjoy the process. If you want to see more of Derek's work and what he's up to, check out the link down below. Alright guys, if you do recreate this piece, also please be sure to use hashtag ColorbyFeliks so that we can see your recreation and share it with our community. Also, please be sure to like and subscribe to support this channel and the artists coming on. Alright guys, enjoy this lesson.
Hi everyone, I'm Derek Makara, and today I'm going to be showing you how I painted this painting behind me using acrylic paints on canvas. I'm going to be showing you step by step all the paints you need and all the brushes. Also, feel free to reach out to me with any questions you have. Let's get painting. Okay, so the paints you're going to need are cerulean blue, Prussian blue hue, titanium white, and light phthalo blue. You're also going to need a large flat brush, number 20, or any other large one. Number 10 filbert brush, and also a smaller filbert brush. You're also going to need a palette knife for mixing the paint on your palette. And I like to use this Stay Wet palette, which has a sponge inside of it to keep everything damp so the paint doesn't dry. Acrylic paint tends to dry pretty quick. So we're going to start by putting some Prussian blue on the palette. And then add some cerulean blue to that. As well as phthalo blue and titanium white. So you're going to take your palette knife and mix those two up really well. And slowly add in titanium white until you get a color that you like. And don't be afraid to use a lot of paint on this. We're going to need a lot. Alright, so grab your large brush and get it really wet, dip it in the water, and saturate the brush all over and start painting. Now you just want to go back and forth, and we're going to fade down to the bottom from a darker blue to almost white, nice gradient, and you're just going to take your time and go back and forth. And once we get a little ways down, we'll start adding a lighter blue. Add some water to your brush. Make sure it's nice and smooth, and you just keep going back and forth. Make sure you don't miss any spots. Alright, so now we're going to add a little of the light phthalo blue, just a tiny amount. Blend it in, and then we'll start fading down to a lighter blue. And just blend it in by going back and forth, and if the brush starts to stick, just add some water. and just go kind of up and down with your strokes to blend it in a little more, and then back and forth again. Alright, now we're going to add some white. Mix it up real good. And then as you get to the bottom, you're going to want to use a little more water and almost completely white and just blend it all in. Now it doesn't have to be a perfect gradient. We're going to fill it in with some clouds, so you won't notice any spots that don't blend perfectly. Alright, now we're going to let this dry for a few minutes. One good thing about acrylics is they dry pretty quick. And now for the clouds, we're just going to take a large filbert brush and just kind of block out some clouds with titanium white. Just kind of randomly all over the place, however you think will look good. Just kind of rough estimate of where you want them to be. Normally you would use like a photo as reference, but for this we're kind of just making it up as we go. And as the brush gets drier, you can kind of make more transparent clouds. If you want to keep going, you add a little water. Sometimes I even use my fingers just to get kind of like a nice fade. Just blend it. I don't know, whatever works. Once you start getting it to where you like it with the larger size clouds, you can kind of make just some little transparent ones with a brush that's very dry, no water, and just a tiny bit of paint. And you just kind of can blend with that too. Just take your time. It takes a lot of time, but if you're patient and you just keep working at it, it'll eventually start to look like clouds. If you want to use your fingers, dip them in some water, just kind of do whatever works. And if you don't think it's kind of looking right, just keep going. It takes a long time. In most paintings, I mean, less is more, but in this technique, more is more. Just keep adding clouds if it doesn't look right. And make sure you're only using titanium white here, just one color. And with this, you can't really make a mistake. I mean, you just kind of keep going, and if it doesn't look right, just do something else over it. Can't really make a mistake with this technique. you don't want to get paint on your fingers, I guess you could wear latex gloves, but I don't really care. Alright, eventually you'll get to a spot where you're happy enough with it, and now you can start adding in some blue grays to the clouds, to the bottoms of them. And you're going to grab some Mars black and just a small amount of black, a tiny amount, mixed with white and a little of the blue we've been using. Just want a nice, cool, light gray. And you're just going to add it to the bottom of a few of the clouds, not all of them. You can make some new clouds too. You're going to blend in white on top of those eventually. Maybe make it a little lighter if it looks too dark. And a couple of the clouds up here, we're going to add a little gray in the bottom. And then we'll come back and add some white to blend it in better. Just kind of blend it up a little. And now we're going to get that smaller brush with some titanium white and just make the tops of the clouds kind of blending into the gray. Sometimes I use my finger too for these style of clouds. Whatever you think is going to look best. Sometimes I'll get a large amount of paint on my finger and just kind of swirl it around. It tends to make some cool cloud textures, like by accident. Good thing about clouds is you can never make a mistake. They're all very abstract. Add a little more gray. Try to make a nice fade from gray to white. And just keep working on it. Just have to be patient, and if something doesn't look right, just try something else. Alright, now those clouds on the top, we want to kind of make a better blend from gray to white. And just kind of step back a bit and look at it and see where you can make improvements, where you think you're done. Add little bits of gray if you want. It's all very simple, it just takes a long time. Alright, once you got it to a point where you think you're good to go for the water, you get some ultramarine blue, some sap green permanent, and you're just going to add a little of both of those to the blue mixture that we already have from the sky until it gets a little bit darker than the sky. And a little bit of black too. Now I like to tape off the water line, it's the easiest way to make a straight line. Kind of just eyeball it. And I like to check with the rulers to make sure it's pretty close. And then you're just gonna make a solid blue water. Sometimes I like to make the horizon a little lighter, or the opposite, but this one I'm just going all one color. Didn't really let the paint dry enough on this one, but oh well. It'll be fine. Now the satisfying part. Peel off the tape. And if the paint bled through the tape at all, you can just take some titanium white and fix the water line. Alright, now you're going to get a 1/4 inch angle shader and add a little more of that ultramarine blue and sap green until it's a little bit darker, and just make some little wave shapes. Just kind of going up and then down, little peaks. And as you get to the horizon, you want to make them smaller, and as you get closer to the bottom, you want to make them bigger. So it kind of gives some depth. And eventually when you get to a point where you think you have enough of the dark spots filled in, we're going to get some white, and we're going to mix it in with some light blue, almost white, like a very, very light blue on an angle shader brush. And then on the tops of those peaks you just made, you're just going to do a thin white line You can kind of do it randomly all over the place. It doesn't have to just be on those. Just kind of white lines back and forth, crossing each other. And we're going to come back to this at the end, so it doesn't have to be completely done. Like I said before, you just kind of go back and forth all over the place. Doesn't really matter. Maybe even fade it in spots. Kind of foggy effect. So now I have printed out a photo I took of a sailboat, and I'm just going to sketch it out using a photo I printed on an inkjet printer as reference. And just kind of do a quick sketch of the outline. And then I got some vivid lime green and some emerald green I'm going to mix together for the sail. Looks pretty good. And then just fill in the spots that you outlined. With an angle shader, you can really get some nice straight lines. Just take your time and use it on an angle. You can use it kind of like a pencil. And just a mixture of titanium white and black for the rest of the boat. Just take your time, try to keep your hand very steady, just using the tip. Just really take your time and try to get every little detail. And eventually it'll all start to come together. Now we're going to go back with some white and just add some little accents on the waves. Try to fix up any spot you noticed that you think could use some improvements. It helps to just step back and kind of squint your eyes and see if you see anything that kind of stands out that you don't like, or where somewhere it could use something. Just kind of like we were doing before, back and forth with some white. Doesn't really have to be anywhere exact, just kind of make some lines. And eventually it all just kind of looks right. And the same goes with water as sky. You can't really make a mistake. You just gotta keep working if it doesn't look right. But you can't really do anything wrong if you just keep doing the same thing. And now it's starting to look like it's done. I hope this lesson helped you out. I hope you could learn something from it, and stay tuned for more in the future. One more spot. Okay, done.